Okay, I heard that clear as day. What?
Oh boy. Whoa! Go!
I'm assuming then that it's not a crime scene anymore.
Some outdoor encounters don't begin with screams. They begin with one small thing that feels wrong. A climber suddenly slides hundreds of meters down a frozen mountain, while a quiet parking lot hides something no hiker expected to find. Out there, how quickly can a normal trip become a moment you never forget? The video was uploaded on April 17, 2022, by a Scottish outdoor channel called Bushmen in Blue, run by a man named Al. The channel focuses on hiking and camping across the mountains of Scotland, with Al often documenting these trips alongside his dog, Blue. This upload followed them deep into Hidden Valley, where Al planned to camp overnight high in the snow-covered mountains. At first, the trip looked like a normal outing for the channel. The valley was quiet, the terrain was familiar, and Al moved steadily through the mountains with Blue close by. Then, while looking across a distant slope, Al noticed something.
Well, I don't know if you can see, but someone has just fallen from the top of that gully and has stopped about 3/4 of the way down it, and they're moving fast. I'm just listening out and see if there's any noise or any distress signal there. It don't look like they're moving, to be honest.
High up in a steep gully, a climber had lost his footing. Within seconds, the man was sliding uncontrollably down the snowy mountainside. He tumbled hundreds of meters through the gully before finally stopping somewhere below. From Al's position, there was no way to know how badly the climber had been hurt. Al immediately changed course. Instead of continuing toward his campsite, he turned and started making his way toward the accident site.
Just found these two skiers here, so I'm just going to head up and just see if this guy's alright, but it's going to be a tricky one underfoot. Currently on snow. God, I hope he's alright. I cannot leave him without checking though. No chance whatsoever.
As he got closer, Al saw two other climbers lower on the slope. One of them was already moving toward the fallen man. They signaled that the climber was alive and seemed to be okay, but Al did not leave. In mountain conditions like that, even a minor injury can become serious quickly. He kept going until he reached the climber himself and made sure the man could get down safely.
Two people now. One guy's walked his way down to the other one. He's moved and he shouted and said everything's okay, but well, nearly to the guy. He's up. Looks like he might be limping slightly, but at least he hasn't broken anything. Here he is. What a hellish fall, mate. Are you okay?
The climber had survived the fall, but during the slide he had lost his ice axe somewhere on the slope. Without it, he had no way to self-arrest if he started sliding again. Given the distance he had fallen and the terrain around him, the outcome could easily have been much worse. According to Al, the main injury was to the climber's ankle along with the shock of the fall. Al stayed with him and helped guide him down the mountain and back into the valley below. If Al had not seen it happen, and if no one had reacted quickly, the situation could have turned life-threatening before help arrived. A fall like that on terrain like that without an ice axe leaves very little room for survival. It raises a question worth thinking about: how often do serious accidents happen in remote places with no one around to see them? This video was posted on June 6, 2025, by a hiking channel named Dundee Hikes. The channel follows a hiker who records outdoor trips on trails across the United States. During this specific outing near the Jim Jervis Memorial Picnic area, along the Pacific Crest Trail. What started as an ordinary hike became deeply unsettling. The hiker was moving along the trail when something near the parking area caught his attention. Close to the edge of the lot, a car was parked at a strange angle, sitting dangerously near the side of the cliff. From farther away, it appeared abandoned. But the closer he moved, the harder it was to dismiss.
Do you ever see anything and just think to yourself, what the heck is going on here? And unfortunately, knowing that you will never know.
Near the car, he noticed a rope hanging down over the cliff edge. He approached, carefully lowered himself, only far enough to look below, and immediately realized the situation was serious. At the bottom of the cliff, he saw a person in an extremely disturbing state. He climbed back up and contacted authorities right away.
Looks like the sheriff's department sent a helicopter out, and I know they're sending ground units too. Looks like the fire department showed up, so the chopper is moving on to the next thing.
Emergency crews arrived by helicopter not long after. The area around the picnic site changed quickly. What had been a quiet trail stop turned into an active investigation scene. Investigators started searching the area for evidence while rescue personnel secured the cliffside below.
All the rest of them got on scene here. I gave my statement to the sheriff, and they said they don't need anything else from me, so. And they asked me not to leave, so okay.
Before he could leave, authorities told him to stay at the scene. He waited as different response teams moved in and out, first fire and rescue, then what seemed to be a crime scene unit, which went down to examine the body and determine what had happened.
I got an update from the sheriff, and he basically said that fire and rescue showed up, said, yeah, he's dead, and left. But they're going to go down and actually examine the body and try to determine if it was self-inflicted or not. Looks like now they're taking the stretcher down to recover the body. I'm assuming then that it's not a crime scene anymore, since homicide has not showed up.
During the wait, more details about the vehicle came up. The hiker remembered seeing the car parked there as early as Wednesday. A passing cyclist said the same thing. But other witnesses told investigators they had only noticed it as recently as Saturday, making the actual timeline uncertain.
Well, after about 5 hours, they have decided that it is a suicide and they don't need me to hang around anymore.
After about 5 hours at the scene, investigators finished their work and released him. Authorities determined the death was a suicide. By the time he was allowed to leave, he no longer wanted to continue filming. The weight of what he had seen made the rest of the day feel impossible to document. What stayed with him, and what stays with anyone watching, is how quietly something like this can happen in a place people visit for peace. Trails overlooks open areas. Sometimes they carry more than scenery. And even when authorities close a case, that does not always mean every question feels answered. The car may have been sitting there for days before anyone looked closely enough to realize something was wrong. That is the part that is hardest to shake. How does something like this remain unseen for so long in a place people pass through every day? This video was posted on July 25th, 2025, by the Paranormal Exploration channel Exploring with Angelo. The channel follows Angelo as he visits remote places across the United States that are linked to hauntings and strange activity. On July 24th, 2025, he went alone into an isolated forest area with a history of paranormal reports and unusual animal behavior, unaware of what the night would bring. The trip began like many of Angelo's solo investigations.
Possibly the woman of the night, if you will. It's really strange. I keep thinking that I'm seeing like reflections of like eyeballs almost, like off over there. feel like I'm being watched. It's like I'm almost like seeing eyes off in the distance too, so...
Yes, it's me.
Yes, it's me. Whoa. Who are you?
I've been here 100 years.
That's creepy.
Malicious.
What's malicious? Is there something malicious here with me? I keep hearing something. It almost sounds like something's moaning, but it's quiet. What am I hearing that's making that noise? Okay, what the fuck was that?
He walked through the woods in almost complete darkness, with only faint moonlight filtering through the trees. Small noises and quick movements near the edge of his vision kept him tense. Then a long, low moan came from somewhere among the trees. He could not tell where it came from. Something seemed nearby.
Bird.
That was loud. What was that? Firefly or is that something else? Ooh. Okay. What is that? Okay, I heard something really loud down there. Legit, at one point, it almost sounded like something was right here. Like something landed on one of these rocks, like a rock hitting a rock sort of thing. Then it sounded like another moan came from down there. What the hell? What? Okay, how? What the fuck is this even doing here? Why is there a boulder in the middle of the bridge? Okay, I walked past here twice. That was not there. What is going on right now? Okay. Something did that. Yeah, that's a heavy ass rock. I can't even move it with my foot. What the f... Alright, what did that?
As he moved farther into the forest, he started seeing what looked like faint reflections in the dark, quick flashes that almost resembled eyes watching from a distance. He could not prove what they were, but the sense that he was being watched stayed with him. Then the forest erupted. A loud, heavy crash shattered the quiet. Rocks moved somewhere close, and when Angelo returned to the trail, a large boulder was now sitting in the middle of it, where the path had been clear when he passed earlier. After that, the sounds continued, deep moans, the hard crack of rocks striking rocks in movement, circling just beyond the range of his camera.
This fucking weird. No freaking way. Something's moving back there. What is that? Oh, I hear something. Okay, in all my days, I've never seen a ghost just lift a boulder. Oh, 3 knocks. 3 knocks. That was back towards camp. Okay, I heard that clear as day. What? Okay, there is definitely something going on out here. Let's go back to camp. Those 3 knocks sounded like they were literally like right in that direction.
Then, 3 deliberate knocks came from the direction of his campsite. They were loud, clear, and evenly spaced. Shadows moved near the edge of his light, but nothing came into view. Angelo started back toward camp with every sound along the way, making the fear worse. By the time he reached his tent, it was hard to shake the feeling that something had been interacting with him on purpose. The disturbances went on through the night. By morning, Angelo packed up and left, noticing more strange details along the trail as he made his way out. He left without clear explanation, only the feeling that whatever was out there was not finished with that place. A boulder does not move by itself, and 3 even knocks do not come from the wind. Whether it was an animal, something unknown, or both. Nothing that night had a simple answer. So, what do you think was really out there with him? This video was posted on the Joel L'Esperance channel on December 12, 2006. Joel is not a typical YouTube creator, and his channel contains only 1 upload. But what he recorded in that single video was frightening enough to keep resurfacing for years. While walking alone far out in the woods, he suddenly came face to face with a bear and managed to record the entire encounter on his phone.
Shit. Whoa! I'm about 400 meters from camp. Whoa! Get! Oh boy. Whoa! Go! Go away! Go! Almost time to drop the camera and run. Well, not run. Whoa! 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 Get! Ah! Go! Get!
The video is unstable and rough, but the danger it shows is unmistakably real. The bear was not acting like an animal that had simply been surprised or trapped. Its behavior looked clearly predatory, moving its head side to side, trying different lines of approach, and gradually narrowing the space between them in a way that was hard to misunderstand. Joel did everything he could to stand his ground and discourage it, and he made it out unharmed, but only by a very thin margin. Most hikers carry bear spray or even a firearm as a precaution, often for situations much less dangerous than the one he faced. Joel had only a stick. The threat was genuine, and the reason he escaped without injury came down to both calm control and luck. The bear in this footage was not startled or defensive. It was locked in. So what really made it stop was staying calm and holding his ground enough, or did something else make the bear back off at the last moment? The channel Annabelle La Coccinelle follows a 30-year-old woman living in France who stays full-time in her van with her cat. She often films her daily routines and the different forests and regions where she camps around the country. Her videos are usually rooted in the normal pace of van life and have mostly avoided anything disturbing. But in this particular upload that changed in a way she had never dealt with before for the first time since beginning her channel, something truly scared her. She parked her van in a lot and started walking along a forest trail toward a nearby village.
Mon pauvre estomac. Bon bah là c'est très mauvais signe, il commence à pleuvoir, alors j'espère juste qu'il va pas pleuvoir de ouf. Vous imaginez quand même, ça fait 2 heures que je vous vante les mérites de ce village, je vais vous y emmener, je vais vous montrer. Puis une fois arrivé là-bas, bon bah je vais ranger la caméra. Non c'est pas vrai, je vais vraiment essayer de faire mon possible pour vous filmer.
Annabelle spent some time exploring the village, and from what she showed, it seemed like a pleasant visit. The walk had been worth it. After several hours out, she returned to the van, got inside, and opened her laptop to start editing. That was when a man came up to her door. His vehicle had no license plate. He asked her for the time.
Vous voyez, Koda, il était attaché avec sa longe, même à l'intérieur, parce qu'il y a des chevaux dehors, et j'ai peur qu'à tout moment il sorte. Normalement, il attend mon autorisation, mais avec lui, on ne sait jamais. Il y a le gars de la voiture sans permis qui arrive jusqu'ici. Koda, il sort. Normalement, il a pas... Mais bref, il sort. Il aboie pas après ce type, il fait rien de spécial. Donc je ramène Koda, et puis le gars, il me dit « Est-ce que vous auriez l'heure ?» Bon, bah, je lui dis quand même l'heure qu'il est, donc 19h. Depuis, il est dans sa voiture et puis il me regarde. Je sais pas s'il voulait vraiment l'heure. Est-ce que c'est une technique de drague? Est-ce que c'est pour mon petit montage? LF, sans alcool, 0,0 toujours. Et ouais, je sais pas, depuis tout à l'heure, j'ai l'impression qu'il me regarde par la fenêtre et tout. J'aurais bien voulu passer une deuxième nuit ici, hein, si possible. On a fait tout à l'heure et j'ai bien aimé, donc j'aimerais bien refaire une fois le tour. Le truc, c'est que je suis pas trop à l'aise de laisser le camping-car ici parce que je me dis, ça se trouve, le gars...
At first, she decided to move past it and went outside to walk her dog. That was when she saw something that immediately unsettled her. The same man who had knocked on her door only minutes earlier was now behind her, following her down the same path into the woods. There is almost no harmless way to interpret what happened next.
Les amis, là je suis repartie faire le tour du lac. Le gars était plus dans sa voiture sans permis. Et en fait je m'aperçois qu'il est en train de me suivre dans les bois, quoi. Ultra rassurant, donc j'ai ma petite bombe au poivre dans la main. Koda n'a pas trop réagi tout à l'heure quand le gars est venu pour me demander l'heure à ma porte. Et je sais pas, attendez. Je vais essayer de me retourner discrètement. Il est en train de regarder si... là on va pas le voir parce qu'il est caché derrière, juste là. Et en fait il passe sa tête en mode... Est-ce qu'elle avance ou est-ce qu'elle avance pas? Je suis tombée sur des types louches, mais là on est quand même à un stade où déjà le gars ça faisait 1 heure qu'il était sur le parquet. Il regarde si j'avance ou si j'avance pas, et là il me fixe. Je le vois là. Là il est en train de faire le balancier avec sa tête en mode il regarde. Viens ici. Il y a un problème depuis tout à l'heure, monsieur?
Non, mais moi, je connais courir, moi. J'habite ici.
Parce que j'ai l'impression que vous me suivez un petit peu, non? C'est moi qui me trompe?
Pas du tout, madame. Pas du tout.
Non, parce que j'ai l'impression que là, depuis tout à l'heure, je suis là et vous me regardez là.
Non, je vois les pêcheurs et tout, moi, je vais avec les pêcheurs. Non, il n'y a pas du tout de problème.
Ouais, oui.
Je vais me retrouver le soir et c'est pareil.
D'accord, oui.
Non, mais j'ai rien avec vous.
Bon, du coup, voilà, bon, j'y suis allée au culot, tant pis, mais bon, moi, je devais savoir s'il y avait un problème ou pas. Le gars, je sais pas si vous avez réussi à bien entendre, mais qui dit, ah oui, non, je viens voir s'il n'y a pas des amis pêcheurs, tu dois déjà bien voir les voitures qui y sont. C'est-à-dire qu'il y a mon camping-car et une seule voiture qui est venue promener son chien. Donc voilà. Et fait bizarre, c'est pourquoi est-ce que faut arrêter de me prendre un peu pour une conne. Donc il me dit non, vous avez pas à vous inquiéter, tout ça. Putain, suivi par un fou, quoi. Oh là là.
The man had been sitting in his vehicle watching her, and as soon as she stepped out for a walk, he appeared on the same trail at the same moment. He even moved close to her dog during the encounter. Whether he intended anything more than making her uncomfortable cannot be known, but the impact was obvious. It was the first time in her entire van life journey that she felt truly unsafe. The order of events showing up at her door, then watching from his car, then appearing behind her in the forest left very little space for another explanation. She turned back and confronted him directly. He denied that he was following her and gave a reason that did not make sense. She did not believe him, and when you look at the details of what happened, it is difficult not to understand why. He came to her first, then sat there watching her, then followed her into the woods the moment she left the van. Any one of those actions might be explained away, but all three together in that exact order point in one direction. So, the question is simple. What do you think he really wanted, and what might have happened if she had not turned around and spoken up? The next video is from Wildcat Adventures, a UK-based outdoor channel focused on solo wild camping bushcraft and trips to remote natural and historical places. This footage was filmed on April 20th, 2026, somewhere in Scotland, United Kingdom. The journey begins badly. Strong wind and heavy rain arrive immediately with no shelter from the weather. The landscape resists her at every step. Before she even reaches the spot, comfort is already gone, and that hardship sets the mood for everything that comes next. Gradually, the weather settles. By the time she arrives at the loch, the area is quiet and still. The change feels reassuring, but it can also be deceptive. She sets up camp, prepares the hot tent, makes food, and falls into a normal routine. Then, the feeling shifts. She leaves the open ground and enters an old abandoned castle. The structure is crumbling slowly, being swallowed by nature. It feels different inside. Not simply empty, but frozen in time. That is what makes it unsettling.
This place is well cool. I wish I'd camped here now.
She moves farther in. The paths are damaged, so every step has to be slow and careful. Plants have spread everywhere, even where windows once were. The place no longer feels like a building. It feels like part of the forest, and that makes it harder to read what surrounds her. By the end, nothing proves there was any danger. But the place stays with you, not because of what appears, but because of what remains and what it feels like to walk through it alone. Some places do not have to do anything to leave a mark. Would you have gone deeper into that castle or turned back? The next video tonight comes from Novice Wild Camper, a UK-based outdoor channel focused on solo wild camping, hammock camping, and realistic overnight trips in the woods. This footage was recorded on October 29, 2022, at a woodland campsite in Wales, United Kingdom.
Hello YouTube. I'm out on another wild camp tonight. Going to be hammock camping. I'm in Wales. Yeah, good, you? Good, you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Hey?
The outing begins as something simple. It is a short overnight camp fitted between other responsibilities with no special objective beyond a quiet and straightforward setup. He walks through familiar woodland, returning to a hidden spot he has used before. Because he already knows the location, there is no uncertainty about finding it. From the start, the plan feels controlled and uneventful.
Right, so sitting here chilling out in the hammock, and I've been joined by a couple of yobbos who've come and interrupted my trip. I was thinking about having a fire, and I haven't got anything to really start a fire with, so I'll have to try and improvise with something in the camp.
Then, the first interruption happens. Two strangers arrive at the campsite without warning. The interaction is friendly, and nothing about it seems dangerous, but the mood changes immediately.
I've also put the fire on. Sounds like a electric stove. I wasn't going to, but I had a slight mishap with my filter and the CNOT bag. I don't know if it's the filter jammed.
The conversation shifts toward bushcraft and fire starting. The visit itself does not create any real tension. Eventually, the two leave. But the original flow of the camp has already been disturbed.
Hammock was very comfortable. I was very, very warm. Lots of usual odd noises, crackings of bushes in the night and trees and branches snapping, but yeah, it was all right.
Later, as night settles over the woods, the environment begins adding its own interruptions. Branches snap. Rustling and movement come from somewhere deeper in the woodland. Nothing is investigated further. Nothing is confirmed. But after everything that had already gone off track, those sounds feel different than they would have at the beginning of the night. This video is shaped more by disruption than by one clear rising threat. When several small things go wrong in a row, even a place you know well can start to feel unfamiliar. If strangers appeared at your campsite in the middle of the night, how would you have dealt with it? That's it for tonight. Which moment creep? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story. Share it with us, and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.